One missing girl, 4 scapegoats, years of blunt justice. Bangkok outskirts 1986. On July 22nd, 16-year-old Thai American student Sherry Ann Duncan leaves for school like every other morning. But Sherry Ann never returns home. Several nights later, the police find an unidentified body off the Sukhumvit Road in Samut Prakan. The body is later identified as Sherry Ann Duncan's. The cause of death is allegedly from lack of oxygen. There were no signs of struggle or sexual assault. On 20th August, a rickshaw driver named Praman comes forward to Sherry Ann's mother. He says that he saw 4 men carrying a golden-haired girl out of a building onto the deserted street. It was around 11:30 p.m. He asked them if they wanted a ride, but they refused and pointed out their car, a white 2-door sedan parked in the alley. The driver identifies the 4 suspects. They are the subordinates of Mr. Vinay, the 41-year-old owner of the building that the men allegedly carried the girl out of. He was a business owner, and he harbored a secret relationship with Sherry Ann Duncan. The court tries Vinay's 4 subordinates for Sherry Ann's murder. After gathering witness testimonies, circumstantial evidence, criminal records, Vinay's 2-door Mazda, and Sherry Ann's belongings. Vinay is released due to lack of evidence. His 4 men, however, are initially given death sentences in 1990 for Sherry Ann's murder after a long, publicized trial. But this version of the story was far from the truth. Vinay followed the case closely after his release, trying to prove his men's innocence. In 1988, a secret letter from the Crime Suppression Division stated that they had sufficient evidence to clear the 4 men of the involvement in Sherry Ann's murder. The CSD discovered that the local police's casework was built on fabricated evidence. The autopsy results were cursory, and there were discrepancies in the witness testimonies. However, they weren't released until 6 years later, in 1993. So who killed Sherry Ann Duncan? 1995 brought new evidence to light when a woman showed up at the police station with Sherry Ann's watch. Seeking revenge on her cheating husband Samat, she exposed him for being an accomplice to Sherry Ann's murder, outing another man, Sompong, who strangled Sherry Ann to death. Samak, Sompong, and her driver were hired by a rich woman named Kung. Who would have guessed? Sherry Ann was not Vinay's only girlfriend. Money at hand, Kung channeled her jealousy into a gruesome murder, the evidence of which she covered up by having an affair with the lead police officer. She bribed the rickshaw driver to fabricate a story that framed Vinay and his subordinates. Kung, Samat, and Sampong were arrested in 1995, but Kung was released due to lack of evidence. In 1997, the court ruled life sentences on the men. In 2003, 26 million baht was paid to the wrongly accused victims and their relatives. But this was not a happy ending. They paid a heavy price for a crime they did not commit. Rung Chalerm died in prison. Pitak died from a prison's disease. A few years after his release, Thawat died. And the fourth, Graset, became disabled from a spinal injury caused in the prison, during which he lost his family. He passed away in 2012. Sherry Ann Duncan's case stemmed articles like 237 and 246 that aimed at protecting suspects' rights. Sherry Ann Duncan's case exposed more than her murder. It unveiled how money manipulated the truth and the system that ruined lives in the end. The societal issues, the boogeyman, that drew out the tragedy in this case, ultimately narrowed down to money and greed, power corruption, and a crippled justice system. Hidden skeletons, unsuspecting villagers, the temple's darkest secret. 16 September 2010, Paingan Temple. A village dog walks into the market, carrying a plastic bag. The reeking plastic draws the attention of the nearby locals. They open it, only to discover unimaginable horror. The smell was traced back to the temple, where the dog led them in front of locker 17, and the police discovered 348 corpses of fully developed fetuses. The mortician Suthe and his helper Suchat are questioned. They deny any knowledge, but their claims fall on deaf ears. The disbelieving officers take the men to the police station to re-interrogate them. They finally admit to receiving 200 to 500 baht per day for taking in the dead fetuses from an illegal abortion clinic for years. They collected the bodies to be burned all at once, but the temple's crematory was broken. Further into their confession, they reveal that there are more corpses in locker numbers 9 and 10, where 1,654 more fetuses were discovered, totaling to 2,002 unborn corpses. Testimonies and evidence at hand lead to the owner of the illegal abortion clinic, an ex-nurse, Ms. Ratchakon. Before opening her own clinic, she worked at another where she was a nurse assisting doctors in abortion procedures. Her business ran on teen pregnancy. The nurse was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The mortician Suthep got jail time of 3 years and 6 months. And Suchat got 20 years of jail time. Following public concerns, the police ordered the closure of similar clinics within Bangkok and the outskirts. The temple was renovated, but not abolished. Early Thai laws only allowed women to abort in cases of physical and/or mental health issues, rape, and incest. The law did not consider a woman's age, readiness, financial aspect, and choice to choose motherhood. Still, an estimate of 200,000 women seek underground abortion every year. Abortion is a choice neither law nor religion can control, but it tries to. In doing so, it forces young women to seek risky alternatives. In a positive turnover, a law amendment bill was passed in February 2021, allowing any woman within the first 12 weeks of their pregnancy to abort if they choose to do so. The penalty has been reduced for women who terminate their pregnancy exceeding 12 weeks. Pregnant women, the mortician, the old abortion law, and lack of sex education. The doctor. Who or what do you think is the boogeyman?